All right, we're back, boys and girls, and we're going to be reading our story for today, Chameleon, Chameleon. The story was written by Joy Cowley, and the photographs were done by Nick Bishop. So again, this is a book I don't have at my home, so I'm reading it through my teacher's book. So everything is kind of on a miniature, small side. Those are synonyms, miniature and small. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start reading. You've heard this book before, you read it through YouTube, but we're reading it for a second time and we're going to answer some questions along the way. All right, so this one says the chameleon rests in his tree. His skin has peaceful colors. And we see him, he's taking a little nap. And I think it's interesting that they say peaceful colors, and we have green and blue, some oranges, maybe a little yellow. And we think of the rainbow and how the rainbow makes us feel happy and good and somewhat peaceful. And he has a lot of those colors from the rainbow, different than if we think of a storm. And a storm has gray and charcoal and black colors. And those colors usually don't make us feel too good because a storm comes along. So here we are with our chameleon, and he's resting in a tree. Alrighty. He wakes up hungry for a juicy insect. He looks this way and that way. No food, no food. He must find a new tree home. So the one question I have is, why does he have to find a new tree home? That's right, because see, there's no food in the tree he's at. There's no insects in the tree that he's in. So he needs to go find a new home. Again, that's the author allowing us to draw conclusions. The author didn't really tell us that per se, but we can draw the conclusion that because there is no food, he has to find a new home. Slowly, the chameleon climbs down the tree, step by step. And we see him taking his time. So if we look at this and we see how he's walking, do we say he's a fast animal or a slow animal? We think he's probably a slow animal, right? By the way the author describes. Let's even look on the next page. It's like, by step, he stops. Is something hiding there? So he's taking it step by step. Let me take the glare off of that, sorry. Step by step. So that tells us that he's a slow moving creature. Again, it's something that the author didn't really tell us, but we can draw the conclusion by the way he writes his story. And this page says, a gecko. The gecko looks scary, but it will not hurt the chameleon. He does, in fact, look very scary. I would be afraid. Step by step, the chameleon creeps to the ground. He's taking his time. He's being very cautious. He looks this way and that way, watching for danger. So now the gecko is looking this way and that way, not for food this time, but he's looking to make sure that things are safe, much like we do when we cross the street. We look this way and we look that way to make sure it's all clear before we cross the street. Let's continue. What is this? It is a tiny chameleon. It is not dangerous. And we see that he actually doesn't seem like he has peaceful colors. Maybe he's just trying to blend in. What is that? It's a tiny frog. The frog will not harm him either. And we see the frog right there. He is a tiny frog, isn't he? Nice bright color. Something hangs from a low branch. Suddenly it jumps. Another gecko. So here's the gecko right here. He's definitely blending into his environment. He looks like a leaf. So he's definitely camouflaging himself. The gecko will not hurt the chameleon. The chameleon moves on. So what animals does he see so far? He's seen another little chameleon and a gecko. Two geckos. One big and one small. All right, here we go. What's this? A scorpion. Watch out, Chameleon. The scorpion's stinger is poisonous. Ooh, he's looking like he's ready to attack. Carefully, the chameleon creeps past, looking like, oh boy, so sorry, Mr. Scorpion, don't mean to bother you. At last, the chameleon finds a new tree. He is safe again. He climbs up slowly, step by step by step. So why does the author say that he's safe again when he finds a new tree? That's right, because when the chameleon's down on the ground, other animals can attack him. But when he's up in the tree, many animals cannot get to him, so he feels a little safe. So he's not safe on the ground, but once he gets to a tree, he's safe. Again, something the author didn't really tell us, but we can figure it out. Alrighty, let's go on to our next page. Is there food in this tree? Yes. The chameleon sees a big caterpillar. Caterpillar's like, ooh, ooh. Zap! That's what the word says down here. Zap! Sticks out his long tongue and grabs that caterpillar. And this word zap is called an onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia are sound words. So words like zap, bam, ring. Words, when you say the word, makes the sound. All right, so that's an onomatopoeia. It's a funny kind of word, and it's a sound word. Zap. Chew, chew, gulp. Something is watching. Another chameleon lives in this tree. Her skin is dark with angry colors. Go away. And she's like, what are you doing here? Notice her colors are those dark colors we talked about that may not be as peaceful as a rainbow. But the chameleon greets her with bright colors. She sees that he is friendly. She welcomes him with pale colors. So she has almost no color on her, and I guess that's her way of saying, you know what, we can be friends. Two chameleon friends have happy colors. And that's the end of the story, but we have an information page. And honestly, boys and girls, because I'm reading from my book, it's hard for me to see these words. See? So I'm actually going to use a magnifying glass to read this part to you. So I'm going to have my camera kind of distorted for you in order for me to be able to see the words. Alrighty. And so it says, did you know? And it says, the two chameleons featured in this book are panther chameleons from the island of Madagascar, which is rich with strange and wonderful animals. There are geckos that look like moss growing on tree trunks, and others that look like dead leaves on the forest floor. And we saw one of those in our story. There are tiny poisonous frogs with bright colors to warn other animals not to eat them. So I believe that frog that the chameleon saw was probably one of those poisonous because he was brightly colored. He was yellow. Chameleons come in many sizes, from as large as a big squirrel to as tiny as a matchstick. Male panther chameleons are about 15 inches long, while females are about 8 inches long. Most chameleons live in trees, where they hide among the leaves. They are always very cautious, and some move slowly, taking one careful step at a time. They have they have feet like little pincers and long tails to hold tight to branches. Their eyes can look in different directions at once, to check for danger or food. That's a lot different than ours because our eyes move together. We can't look separately, but they can look one way and look at the other way. And it's really an odd thing to see. When a chameleon spots his favorite food, such as a fly, a grasshopper, or a caterpillar, it creeps close, then suddenly spits out its long tongue. Muscles at the tip of the tongue grab the insect as it zipped back into the chameleon's mouth. Oh, that's a little different because I was thinking it was like a frog who has a sticky tongue, and when he grabs it, it sticks to his tongue. But the chameleon is actually using a muscle to grab that food that he's getting. All right. A chameleon always likes to stay safe, and it usually avoids others of its kind. But sometimes it will climb down from its tree to look for one with more insects to eat or to look for a mate. On the ground, it is no longer well hidden, so it stays on the lookout for the forest floor animals. Some, like snakes and scorpions, could be dangerous. Others, like geckos, are harmless. It might even meet a leaf chameleon, one of the smallest chameleons, which is less than 3 inches long and lives on the leaf litter. Chameleons are the most well known for being able to change color. People once thought they did this to match their surroundings, but only a few types of chameleons clearly change color, and they do it depending on their mood. For example, a chameleon's color might darken when it's cold or upset, or they might brighten when it goes to sleep. Mostly chameleons change color when they see each other. Males turn bright colors to impress females or scare off their mates. Scare off other males. Females have their own colors to tell males if they are friendly or would rather be left alone. Chameleons cannot hear sounds very well, so they use color as a way to talk to each other. Alrighty. Sorry about that, boys and girls, but it was the only way. Here's my magnifying glass that I was using, and it makes the words big, but I can't see through the magnifying glass and see through the camera, so I had to use one or the other. But those were some interesting facts about the chameleon. I did think that the chameleon changed colors to protect itself, to camouflage itself. And the information I just received says that is not why a chameleon changes color. It changes color by the way it feels. Its moods are the reasons that it changes color. And also females change color to let males know whether or not they feel like being bothered or not. So that's all very interesting. They have muscles in their tongue. They're not sticky tongues. And the snake and the scorpion are two of the enemies, if you will, of the chameleon. Interesting. So throughout this story, what was this text about? Let's answer that question. What was the text about? That right. It was about a chameleon looking for food and looking for a new home so he can find food. Let me see what other questions we want to ask about that. What kind of mood was the other chameleon in at first? Yeah, she was in a bad mood. She was feeling threatened, like maybe he was coming to bother her. So she put off dark colors. But once he continued to show his bright colors, she said to herself, "Oh, he's friendly. So I will be friendly too." And she changed her colors to be friendly. Alrighty, and then on the last page, this page here, we learned a lot of different facts about chameleons. Chameleons have pincers. This is like a pincer for feet. So this is how they grab onto branches or everything. But it's a very strong grab. We learned that they don't change colors to protect themselves. They change colors depending on their mood. We also learned in all of our little information here that their eyes move in different directions, can move in different directions. So they can look for food and look for danger at the same time. We also learned that there are many types of different chameleons, and they could be as big as a squirrel or as small as a matchstick, which is pretty small. What else did we learn? I think that, and we learned about the tongue having a muscle in there. Alrighty, boys and girls, so that is our story. I want you to go ahead and go answer the questions that are in your Google form, and it's entitled Chameleon, Chameleon, Google form, and you'll answer questions. You will also do page 57 in your journeys book, where you're answering a question and gives you some conclusions or some details, and you'll draw a conclusion from that detail. Conclusions: the first chameleon has friendly colors. The second chameleon sees the first chameleon. The second chameleon sees that the first chameleon is friendly. So the conclusion we can draw from that is what? Yeah, she decided, hey, he's friendly, so I can be friendly too. And so that's what the conclusion would be for this page 57. Alrighty, go ahead and do those two things, your your chameleon Google form, and then do your page 57 and your workbook, and then take a break with Miss LaBerth and come back and we'll be in writing. See you soon.